Okay, out of all of the black and white sets, this has to be the most black and white. I mean, come on, there's the black packs with Reshiram on it, there's the white packs with Zekrom. That is literally the same as the games, come on now. Hey guys, this is GamerGal, welcome to another Pokemon Trading Card Game History video. This time we're on the final black and white set, actual final one this time, Legendary Treasures. It's kind of like Call of Legends in the sense that it is a reprint set. And so I didn't really feel super comfortable like calling it the last set in, previous part, but this is kind of where we are. So yeah, there's remember that rotation that we kind of just had? Most of the cards are back in here, with the exception of like the good one in Electric, right? That's unfortunate, but there's a lot of cards from the era reprinted here. This is before alternate art symbols and stuff came out, so there's not really any, legality question marks here. These were printed here, they are legal. And I suppose it would be kind of silly if they printed a set like this as a main set and the cards in it just weren't legal. So, yeah. There are a few new cards in here, so we will go over those as we do, but this is more going to be artwork appreciation than it is an actual, set review per se. I'll try and note the main things that I can remember at the very least that are, good coming back, but yeah, honestly, it is more about the artwork in this set. I mean, you've got some really cool story-based stuff, like the Charmeleon over here singeing the Swablu's wing, and then if we go down to the Swablu itself, it's getting really mad at the Charmeleon, and it's just, Charmeleon's just trying to apologize. It's kind of adorable. We have things like the Natu's, where are we at? The top here. Natu's getting frozen in the blizzard, but you can see Bouffalon walking over in the corner there. The Bouffalon is just down here now, the Natu's nesting in its afro, and it's super adorable. So there's stuff like that, and then the other best one, and this is one of the best examples in the TCG history, to be honest, the Tepig line. Charizard actually did something like this later on, because, of course it had to, right? So there's actually Gardevoir, I think, in the current format does something like this too, but the cards that do it aren't the best ones, so they don't get played, sadly. But yeah, the character art for that does the thing too. So we have the family picture here, basically, of the boy gets his Tepig, and it's really cute. He evolves into Pignite, and it's much later in time, so we've got the parents and now the grandparents, and brother and sister going on with stuff here. And then we have the whole family gathering at the end here too, with the now being great-grandparents and everything, and it's just, now it's an Emboar, and it's absolutely adorable. The family just keeps on growing as we do. The important thing about this line for competitive play, though, is that the 70 HP Tepig comes back, which is, we only had a 60 HP one before, so yeah, this is much more useful. So let's try and go over some of the new stuff first and see if I can remember half of what's actually different in here. Meaningfully different, we should say. And then we'll go from there. So the EXs, this is the very first set where we can start seeing evolutions as EXs, and this is how Generation 6 is going to be. No longer is it exclusively Legendary Pokemon that get EXs. I believe this was done as a precursor for Mega Evolutions, because yeah, Megas are all EXs in stuff here. So this was their introduction to it. Unfortunately, neither of them in this set are any good. The Excadrill, yeah, not really great at all. If you have a bunch of energy, it's fine. We don't have Pokédex anymore, though, so you can't guarantee this. Because actually would have been kind of decent with double colorless, 40 damage, and attach an energy from the top of the deck, right? You just make sure that the top deck is an energy thanks to Pokédex. That would have been kind of good. Breakground would have also been respectable if it's because it can be powered with DC, but it's clearly not as strong as the other fighting type stuff. Why would you play this over Landorus EX? It's got the same HP, weakness, retreat cost, etc. So yeah, just objectively worse. And the Chandeler's kind of neat. But the problem is it gives up 2 prizes, is the thing here. Curse Drop is a pretty strong attack, even at this sort of point. Like 4 counters doesn't sound like a lot, but that can actually add up pretty quickly. And Eerie Glow, well, we don't have any acceleration for Psychic, so this is a bit of a problem, but 70 Burn Confuse, decent status condition stuff, but status conditions just got nulled by Virizion in the previous set anyway, and yeah, this does basically nothing to that sort of deck. For one, it's got a 2 retreat cost, so it's hard to get out of the active without Floatstone, and yeah, even though its first attack is actually kind of nice, not really good enough here, to be honest. The other new EX in the set is Meloetta, which we will be seeing because Sai wants to play the round deck, so this is what we'll have. It's 110 HP EX, it's the massive frailty point of the deck, but it's a basic Pokemon that has round, and that's the main thing. You're never using Meloetta's round, it takes 3 Psychic Energy to do, and it's, yeah, 30 times for the Pokemon in play that have round is great. Specifically the Pokemon you have in play, but, like, that's cool. However, it takes 3 Psychic Energy, and we do not have Acceleration for Psychic, and even if we did Acceleration for Psychic, wouldn't have round. So there's definitely no way of doing that. You might see Brilliant Voice in a pinch at the start of the game because we play double colors for Seismitoad, and that does 20, and if you flip heads, you put them to sleep. If you flip tails, you confuse them. So, not too bad. It's got a 1 energy retreat, so it's not too hard to get out of the active with just a manual, like, water attach or something, and yeah, it's okay. The other thing that was new in this set was the Radiant Collection, which is the stuff that we have down the bottom here, where mostly we have kind of fancy looking stuff. There's a couple of new things in here too, like, yeah, no retreat cost on this period, kind of terrible, but you know, we've got some really awesome artwork stuff down here as well. And we also have some what would be holofoil cards in this lot too, like, yeah, the Reshiram is the one I've been using this entire time because it's just objectively the best one. Don't fault me on that. But yeah, we have like Shaman here as well, the Emolga, which I only really use this one because the actual best art in Dragon's Exalted has got the Pokemon League stamp on it, and I don't like that, so whatever. Mew EX is pretty nice in here as well. This will keep it legal for quite a long time, to be honest, because yeah, it was printed at Dragon's Exalted, but now when that rotates in next year, we'll have Mew EX still, and it's kind of nice. And then, of course, we had the Meloetta. We do have a new trainer card in this set, a new supporter in Elisa. So if you're playing a lot of tool cards, like Tool Drop could potentially use this, search your deck for 3 Pokemon tool cards, show them to the opponent, put them into hand. Yeah, if you're playing a lot of different tools, and Tool Drop is obviously the biggest example of this, you would be able to just get the ones that you need. Get like an Experience Share, a Floatstone, and a Silver Bangle, and it'd be pretty good. So that's neat. We also have technically a new supporter in Cedric Juniper. We would never play this because it is literally just worse Charon. You put a Pokemon from your hand face down in front of you, tell the opponent its name, so you're revealing something out of the hand as well. If the opponent can guess the height of that Pokemon correctly, then they draw 3 cards. If they guess wrong, you draw 3 cards. So yeah, it's Charon with fundamental downsides. However, there is a bit of history with this card, because this card was actually banned at any World Championships that it was legal for, like in terms of set rotation. And it's not obviously because the card is too good, because the card is terrible. However, it requires you to tell the opponent the name of a Pokemon. And the problem with that is language. We've seen this in other games that hasn't really been addressed, but yeah, if you have to tell the opponent the name of a thing, and the name of the thing is not necessarily the same in their own language. So yeah, there's World Championships, not everyone has to speak English to participate, obviously, so there's no universal language at all. That's why they've got translators and everything around too. And yeah, it gets banned because your opponent might not be able to understand you properly when you're trying to resolve this. So just a neat little bit of trivia. In terms of stuff coming back, we have an Energy Switch and Crushing Hammer in here as well, so unfortunately Crushing Hammer I think is basically eternal at this point. I don't remember there ever being a rotation. There probably is, but I don't remember there being a rotation where it's not in, so barf, I guess. Energy Switch is interesting. I wanted to play Ho-Oh last round, couldn't do it because Energy Switch wasn't in play. I'm probably not going to play Ho-Oh this time around because we're only going to really show one deck, I think, here, so yeah. We're wanting to move on to XY, let's be honest. This set doesn't have a lot of new stuff to it. There's technically a new God of War in here as well, I suppose, from the Radiant Collection. Like, it's cute, but Eternal Radiance doesn't really do enough here. You could technically partner this with Reuniclus. That is neat, I suppose, but it only moves 11 damage counters at that point anyway. It's double stage 2s, it takes 2 psychic energies, so you probably need to use it with the original God of War as well, so that's 3 stage 2s to set up and just blot, no chance. Yeah, let's just go over the rest of the stuff and see as we go. I'm mostly going to be artwork on this one, obviously, but there's some cool stuff too. Artwork-wise, I love the Shuckle here, just having handing out this berry juice. Healing stuff from the Pokemon that it, you know, shares with is kind of nice. The Emolga helping out as well. Is it helping out, or is it more just receiving the berry juice? I think it's receiving it, but it would be kind of nice if it was, like, helping to, because, you know, Shuckle isn't exactly the most mobile of Pokemon, right? Would be nice. The Superior in the forest is kind of nice. We did have the shiny one already, so we didn't need this as far as legality, but it just looks cool. So, yeah, if you wanted to play Serp, that is definitely an option. The Virizion looks really cool. This actually brings it back into format too, because Virizion did not have a reprint, so it's kind of weird. At least it did until Plasma Blast, so technically this doesn't bring it back, but it looks much better than the shiny one, let's be real. There's a new Genesect in here as well. This does 50 plus 20 for every grass energy attached to it for 4 colorless energy, so it's a little bit more expensive than Keldeo, but if you're looking for a non-EX Genesect for, you know, just having a single prizer in Virgin, you could do worse than this. I don't think this is the best sort of thing you could play in there. I would rather just play the Tropius or something if I wanted a one prizer, but yeah, it's alright. The Ninetales in the set is not the same one as what we had before. This one is infinitely worse, to be honest. 3 colorless energy, if you match the basic energy to the opponent's type, you do 90 instead. So I guess if you are absolutely desperate and for some reason don't want to play Reshiram, you could use this in Virgin and, you know, match the grass type, snipe the Virizion or Genesect at that point, hit them for weakness and get the one-shots. But it's free energy to do that in a deck that doesn't play double colorless, so obviously pretty terrible. Victini gets his reprint in here, so we will have Victory Star for quite a while. So if you want to do any coin tossing stuff, that is possible still. Pretty cool. Embor, like we said, it's not legal. Not like legal issues on this because we did have a shiny print already, but keeps it in format for a bit longer if you so choose, which is neat. Reshiram, of course, was already in format too, but it's a very stylistic artwork here. The EX gets a reprint as well, but the EX was never good, so whatever. I think the Empoleon in here is different. It's not amazing, to be honest. 140, I mean, the artwork is awesome, but 140 HP is the same as what we already had. But this one takes free energy to attack, and yeah, it's just not even that good of an attack. You can basically do the same thing if the opponent maxes their bench out for only 1 energy, so with the other Empoleon, I mean, so yeah. Fione's kind of neat. I mean, continuation of the artwork, it's like Trubbish just wants to surf for some reason, I don't know why, but he does. And this is sort of cool. Pull a card from the discard pile on top of the deck is somewhat neat. And Aqua Boomerang, I guess, picking up the Fione could be kind of decent. Picks up the energy too, so yeah, it's alright. I could think of a lot worse that we have there. Seismitoad has got some pretty awesome artwork here. The round deck will be using this one because it's just great. But yeah, we actually do get this printed. Very annoyingly, there is a time pole in like Breakpoint that's very deep into the XY era that has round, but I don't think it's legal in Standard with the Seismitoad or the Palpitoad here. And those guys do not have Round in Breakpoint, so it's very stupid. Kyurem's got some pretty awesome artwork here. This brings it... No, this doesn't bring it back into legality because there was a promo for it, but Sky Arrow Bridge being there as well is just awesome, to be honest, outside Castel. The Kyurem EX is obviously here too. Keldeo EX here, I don't think this changes legality at all, because I believe the next rotation's boundaries crossed on, so sure, I guess. The Minun is neat, I guess. That's not a bad artwork for it. The Mewtwo here is new. It's not really that noteworthy. Power Edge double colorless for 30 is Psy-Slash for 120 to do, you know, discard 2 energy, 2 psychic, 2 colorless Costo. Again, we don't have psychic acceleration, so kind of blah. 120 HP is reasonable, but not even as strong as most legendaries of this era, so barf, I guess. The only reason I'm noting this is because if you want to do a really dumb deck with Vileplume, this is the thing you would use to hit Psychic Weakness, because that deck plays DCE anyway, and 30 is a respectable number to do with that ×4 weakness. So yeah. Speaking of Mewtwo, the EX is in here as well. This will keep it legal for quite a while to come, so yeah, I mean, it gets outclassed by Yveltal next set anyway, so who really cares? There's a Miss Magus in the set too that's just awesome looking. It's not actually good, but sometimes that's not the point, right? I don't know why this route takes 2 energy to do its attack, but it does, so there you go. There's a Gallade down here as well, actually, that's new, so I guess we could note it. 20 more damage for each of your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on it. Is a respectable text, but Psychic double... not Psychic, it's Fighting type. Fighting double colorless to do 60 base isn't very good, and I don't think we really have a solid enough Earthquake strat in this exact format. There is a Dog Trio in XY that you could maybe try and pair this with, but as a stage 2, are you really going to want to do that? I don't think you do. But hey, it's there if you want it. Sigilus got a pretty fun artwork here, just being over the cityscape. What is this one? This looks like, oh, which one is it? It's Oppelucid, I think, is in, like, black version or something. The futuristic one. Looks kind of awesome, though. Yeah, Garbodor gets its reprint in here as well, so we will have that ability locked for a while. We do have item lock in here in terms of Gothitelle as well, so if you wanted to play Gothitelle at Selgor, this is a set that you could do it. It gets outclassed by Trevenant in the next set, so that's kind of fine, I suppose. I adore this artwork for Meloetta, just the, I don't know what it is, it's like the watercolor sort of thing, just looks really, really nice. And yeah, I mean, Meloetta is not a terrible card if there's Psychic Weakness in the format, but unfortunately not quite where we are at the moment, so yeah. There's a new Lucario in here as well when you get damaged by the opponent's... Oh no, this is not new. There was a new one in the promos, which I don't think I actually brought out because it's bad. It's like when you evolve into it, draw 2, and that's like the only noteworthy text on it, so yeah. This Spiritomb is actually pretty good though. It is a new card here. Each player can't play any Ace-Spec cards from his or her hand. So this is quite good against Darkrai decks, Sableye abusing specifically, because it stops them from using stuff like Computer Search or Damage Machine every single turn. So yeah, also can be pretty good against Verizia and Genesect for the same sort of reason. You can stop them from reapplying their what is it called again? The not Megalo Cannon, that's the attack name. The G-Booster, there we go. Darkrai EX is in here as well, so that'll be legal for quite a long time. Definitely a good option in Genesect decks, not Genesect, Yveltal decks coming out. And Aromatisse as well, could use it for the retreat aspect, but you don't really need to in that deck, you've got a Stadium for that. Getting ahead of ourselves, because we want to just play XY, let's be honest. Zoroark in here, Brutal Bash is kind of neat. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's a better format for it now because there's not so much fighting going around. So I guess if you wanted to play it, maybe now's the time. Still kind of, I don't know, awkward to play. A couple of the dragons get reprinted in here as well. Rayquaza is in here, so I guess Dragon Pulse is in for quite a while. The Altaria in here is not the correct Altaria, unfortunately, but it does have a shiny print, so Garchomp Altaria could still get played for quite a while, because the Garchomp is in here as well. So if you really like that deck and wanted to just play the same thing forever, you probably could. The Gible in here is not the, and like the Gabite unfortunately is not the right one, so once Dragon's Exalted rotates, you're not going to have the search aspect that makes that deck so good, so yeah, I don't know. I love the Gible though, like, it's a shame that it's not the Sand Attack one, but it's such a cool artwork on this thing, just, yeah. There's so many of them there, and there's so many different personalities going on, it's neat. Hydreigon is in here from the boy. We love this guy's artwork. It's just so distinctive. Yeah, I don't know if I would play Hydreigon in XY, but it's a cool deck, and it's nice that it's still legal, I suppose. The black and white Kyurems are the ones from Boundaries Crossed, actually, but that's not going to change legality anyway, so who really cares? I love the Minccino artwork over here. If we played Cinccino once this one came out, I forget when this came out. I think it was Next Destinies or something when this and the Smooth Coat over here, when they came out. Maybe it was Noble Victories and I just didn't want to play it, I don't know. But if I ever did play Cinccino, then it would be with this one, because it's just adorable. And that is pretty much it for the set as a whole. We have gold versions of the Reshiram and Zekrom. If you see these in real life, they're basically illegible, but they actually look kind of nice here, to be honest. I have considered using them once or twice. They're just a little bit too gaudy for me, but I mean, it's distinctive. You really can see the energy symbols and stuff properly here. The text is very legible, and you can actually see what Pokemon is on the card. So yeah, bonus for BTCGO scans, I guess. And that is the set. Like I said, not really a lot to go over within this one, because there's not a ton of new cards or anything, so it's just take a look and see what looks cool in terms of artwork. And yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, we're not going to spend a huge amount of time on this or anything. Like I saying, we've got 2 decks basically that we'll be looking at, and that is pretty much it. Once we've done that, we'll move on to XY, and there are rule changes and megas, and well, the megas aren't really very good, so we're not going to bother too much with that. But there's rule change stuff in there, as well as a whole host of new card stuff in there. Bunch of ridiculous trainer cards get printed in the first set, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff to look forward to within that. So for now, we will just leave you with the beautiful Purloin and the very silly Stunfisk. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you have found this interesting. There are a couple of promos down here, but let's face it, nobody cares. I didn't even mention Champions Festival in the Worlds format because it's just bad. And it's been the promo for Worlds ever since, so we'll talk about it later. The Mew here is kind of cool. Psyscan, if it's active, lets you look at the opponent's hand. And you do get a Shuffle Draw 6 if you're playing Psychic Energies, so there's some merit to it, I guess. And Genesect itself, Breaker Bazooka is the real reason to consider this, but yeah, I don't know. I think the one from this set is probably better. It just takes so much energy to do its thing, right? But at least it doesn't discard it every turn to only do 100 damage. So yeah, Stunfisk appreciates your patronage on this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take care.